What's worse than having a tiny apartment that's too small? A tiny studio apartment that is badly designed.
Oh my god!
Because there is only one room. There is nowhere else for you to escape to.
I think this is it.
So what can we do? Well, watch this video to find out, because I'm going to go over the do's and don'ts of studio apartment design that will help elevate our homes and maximize the small space that we've been given. Hi, if you're new here, my name is BaiXu and I'm a licensed architect. In the past few years, I worked for an apartment hotel company, and it's no exaggeration to say in those few years, I planned literally thousands of apartments. So I've seen my fair share of good and bad designs. I created this YouTube channel to share all of my design knowledge so we can improve our homes and our built environment together. I hope you'll stick around. Don't fall into the trap of using piecemeal, mismatched open storage units like a lot of different carts and shelves. I've said it before and I will say it again. Open storage is a lie. Let's stop calling it storage and call it what it is. Display shelf. Because there's nothing storagey about it. It's designed as a place to catch your eye for you to hold things that only look good out in the open and not to actually hide your clutter. Because if you really look into your storage systems, all the things you put in there are probably looking pretty messy and cluttered and not something that you want to be out displayed in the open. To keep open storage looking organized, you sacrifice valuable space to ensure everything that you put outside is aesthetically pleasing, which in a small apartment is a pretty inefficient use of space. So never design your home where the majority of your storage is out in the open, out on display, because it would just be very chaotic and messy and give you a lot of headache. What you want to do is have about 60 to 80% of your items hidden behind cupboard doors, curtains, anything that makes it closed and hidden from sight. Not only will it make your life easier, it will also make your space look cleaner, so when you scan the room, your space somehow feels a bit more expansive. If you have built-in storage anywhere, do take storage all the way up to the ceiling. When space is at a premium, what you want to do is maximize the amount of storage space you have as much as possible. And if you get a chance to build your own kitchen cabinets, for example, don't leave a tiny gap between the ceiling and the upper cabinets. Take it all the way up to the ceiling so you can also hide pots and pans and, decoration that you have for when dinner guests come over. Don't place the bed facing the kitchen. Positioning your bed in a way where it faces the kitchen is a no-go for many reasons. Cooking not only fills the air with aromas, but also sends grease and food particles flying, some of which might end up where you sleep. So if you place your bed with a direct view of the kitchen, it exposes your sleeping place to these unwanted cooking mess. You don't really want to sleep under a layer of oil. Do you curate a soothing view from your bed? Your bed should be your happy place, a place where you can lie down and rest and enjoy a good full 8 hours of sleep. So to make it easy for you, make sure your bed is facing a very nice soothing view. That could be an armchair with a nice light, or a TV where you can play some nature documentary, or just the very minimalist facade of your wardrobe. If there's no alternative and your bed just happens to face something that's very messy, like a kitchen, maybe you can install some curtains around it or get a room divider. Think of a way to segment your sleeping space from the messy parts of your home so you can mentally create a cozy, snug area that's away from the chaos of life. Having said that, don't start dividing your room into a billion tiny little spaces with curtains. I mean, sure, if your studio apartment is in reality a 90 square meter massive loft, then go ahead, start experimenting with half walls, massive bookshelves, and movable dividers everywhere so you can reconfigure it exactly how you want. But in most cases, studio apartments are just not that spacious. So breaking the space up into too many small zones may not be the best idea. When there are too many items going on in a small space, it can start to feel a bit cramped and dark. So you can use a mixture of design strategies to create separate zones in your home. This could be using curtains. You can use block painting to visually separate one area from another without physical barriers. You can use rugs as zone definers. A well-placed rug can anchor a space, subtly signifying the transition from one activity zone to another. And you can invest in a couple of movable dividers at a half height. This gives you the flexibility to create different zones in your home without completely blocking off the light to a space. don't overcrowd your home with unnecessary furniture. In an attempt to make your home feel cozy and lived in, I think a lot of people would rush to go buy furniture pieces that they think they must have and need. I think a better way of approaching furnishing your home is by thinking first about who you are as a person and what kind of activities you like to do. For example, if you're an introverted person and you don't invite friends around all the time, do you really need to have a massive sofa and 2 armchairs in your space? Or if you never work from home, do you need a desk? Probably a tiny foldaway desk would be sufficient for you. In a small home, do embrace multifunctional furniture. When space is at a premium, get furnished pieces that works in multiple ways so you have the function without sacrificing on the floor area. For example, you can get a convertible coffee table that can be also raised up into a dining table for when people come and actually eat with you. And when you have an ottoman, can it also double as storage? And when you have a laundry basket, can you also make it double as a chair? Instead of having side tables, what if you got multiple stacking stools? Instead, you can put them together where you need it as a table and then spread them out so they can be used as chairs for when you have people over. Don't compromise on your freedom to move around. Make sure you have enough clearance space between all of your furniture pieces so you can comfortably move around. It doesn't matter how big your apartment is. If you put all the furniture pieces too close together or they're just too large for the space, so your circulation area is constricted, you will feel like you're living in a very cramped space. So if you actually live in a small home, make sure you don't further emphasize this point by not giving yourself enough leg room to move around. Here is a really beautiful studio apartment. Why is there a sofa at the foot of the bed when there's barely enough space to pass through? And the sofa is far too close to the TV to comfortably watch anything from there. I honestly think this room, as nice as it is, has one piece of furniture too many. It makes the circulation around the bed extremely narrow to the point that it's basically unusable. There's not enough space between it and the 2 armchairs to create a living area where you can sit across from each other and have a conversation. She would be much better off to just place a single bench that's much more skinny, lets you sit and still offload objects. Do maximize light and brightness. Our perception of space is not just determined by its physical dimensions, but also by the sensory qualities, including light levels. So if you're living in a small studio apartment, don't block the windows under any circumstances with furniture. Try to maximize the amount of light it can get. You can also strategically add mirrors in dark places to reflect light, so our brain perceives the space as being greater than it is. Don't embrace moody, dark, maximalist interiors before fully considering the psychological effects. Interior blogs, magazines, books are filled with Scandinavian design, all natural, beige, wabi-sabi design. So occasionally, at least for me, when I see a very colorful, bright or dark, strong, moody picture, I get very excited because suddenly it seems so different, so creative. But these spaces do make a strong statement. It's one thing to go to these crazy Instagrammable cafes and hotels for an experience, but think really carefully before you implement something that's not so like classic and neutral into your home, because you have to live with it. People are really different. The kind of things that you prefer and spaces that feels good to you are also different. Moody maximalist environments are high in stimulus load. They contain a large amount of sensory information for the brain to process. High stimulus environments can lead to increased arousal and engagement, which can be very positive to some people. There are people out there who have a very high threshold for stimulation. So this is why there are some people that love to live in cities and some people that find it very chaotic and exhausting and would much prefer to live in the countryside. There's no right or wrong. People just have different preferences. So just think about who you are as a person, what you like to do, what spaces naturally draws you and makes you more comfortable, and decorate your home in this way. I hope you found that interesting, and I hope you'll stay subscribed to my channel. In the meantime, you might want to check out some of my other design tips where I talk about how to maximize a small space and also some makeovers I did for other people. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye!